Now, I perceive that I have worth, that I am of value. I am a servant of God. But I started to question, am I doing enough? Could I be doing more? And the answer was, yes. A resounding yes. You know, we get comfortable. I'm in a groove. My life is pretty scheduled. And, on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm with the trainer, and Tuesdays and Thursdays I teach classes. I'm in a groove. But I was not feeling totally fulfilled, which means that I'm not living to my full potential. And so that wonderful, wonderful song, I Hear Music in Me, that happened to me 2 weeks ago. Musically inclined? No. Do I love music? Absolutely. And so, Dave, I'm going to be talking to you about putting to music a song that came to me.
Wow. Wow.
And we practiced it in class one night. I love to have classes.
Wow.
And so God said, I need you to fully express.
Wow.
And so what that means is not just doing something that is not within my comfort zone, but it's expanding upon that which I am already doing that is in my comfort zone. So some of you know in my class that I've started writing a book.
Wow.
Because Spirit said, you have a story to tell. And Spirit's been telling me that for a real long time, but guess what? It takes time. And it takes concentration. And my life was organized, and it was easy, right? Well, not anymore, because I have a writing coach, and he's a monster. But it's all good, because, next spring, we're saying, and he says spring, and I said, well, what about the summer? No, spring. The Way to Perfect Freedom will be released. Co-authored by Reverend Michelle Senegal. So sometimes, again, we have to ask ourselves those questions. I ask myself that question. It's not about, needing to feel something other than, am I being of absolute service to humanity? And when I asked that question, the answer was no, and so I had to do what? Make a change. Make a change. And so that's all we have to do. And because I am a divine creation, I knew that I had something more of value to contribute and to give. I want to quote accurately Ernest Holmes. He says this about self-worth. Daily realize your unity with wholeness and perfection. You will certainly develop a strong sense of self-worth. And all with whom you come in contact will long to be in your presence. And that's the truth. He also says that wholeness is the keynote to self-worth, and self-worth is not egotism. It's self-realization. It's wholeness or completion. From within, not from without. You cannot add or take away from that which is already complete. Real self-worth is the declaration of your own wholeness. Real self-worth is the declaration of your own wholeness. So knowing that you are whole, you are perfect, you are complete in every way. And yes, life does throw trials and tribulations in our path, but that's to strengthen us. That's to help us advance on our spiritual journey of unfoldment. To return to knowing every minute and every day the absolute truth of who we are. That's what the trials and the tribulations do for us. There's a chapter in my book called Suffer Not. Because many of us suffer, and that's not God ordained. We suffer because of the choices that we make. We suffer because of the actions and the deeds that we engage in. And the ones that are self-sabotaging, all comes from that void, that place within us where we don't feel as though we're good enough. We don't feel as though what we have to offer the world is big enough. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're not living your dreams, ask yourself those questions. And the first one being, do you truly value yourself? Do you truly, truly value who you are and what only you can give to the world? And see, that's the beautiful thing about all of this, is that we are all unique, divine expressions of God, and my gift is not your gift. I can't sing like Jane. But guess what? I can write music and let people like Jane sing it. So that's what I bring to the world. That is my gift. It's of value. Know yours. Know yours. And don't think that just because all you have to offer is a kind word is not enough. Is a touch or not, and it's not enough. Because it absolutely is. A friend of mine called me yesterday. I haven't seen it or talked to this person in a couple of years. Are you going to be available today? And I said, what's going on in your life? I just need to be touched by another human. This person's work is, he's clandestine and, he's a spy, okay? So you don't get close to people.
Wow.
He doesn't have friends. He lives a very sterile and lonely life, and the only reason why he can talk to me is because I have a security clearance. So I'm trustworthy. And he said, I just need to be touched. So we came by, and I just gave him a hug, and my son and I, we just, gave him some food and talked to him. And that was enough. In that instant, that was enough. So don't think that your contribution is ever too small. So I want to share a quotation with you. And it's by Rumi, one of my favorite poets. He says that there is a basket of bread on your head, and yet you go door to door asking for crumbs. Knock on your inner door, no other. Your sense of self-worth comes from within. You don't need to look outside of yourself for validation or perceived value. You are God's creation, and you have inherent worth. No one can ever take that away from you. The worst that can happen is you turn your attention away from it. The good news is you can come here on Sunday and be reminded. Be reminded that you have value. Be reminded that you have self-worth. Be reminded that you are a unique expression of God. Love yourselves first. And in so doing, you are able to love others. You are able to express that. You're able to fully express all that it is that you have to give. There's a scripture that confuses people also. It says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And a lot of people put all the attention on the neighbor and not enough on themselves. And we call that overcompensation. You're trying to overcompensate, again, for that void that needs to be filled within you. So you bought into the idea, it's better to give than it is to receive. And that's a wonderful thing, because we also learned about the law of tenfold. That's a wonderful thing. But you have to understand from where you are giving. If you're giving from a place of lack, because you don't feel worthy, but you know what, if I just give all of this to you, then God's going to bless me, then that's not the place from which you want to give. Give from the place of wholeness. Give from the place of completion. You are whole, perfect, and complete. And in closing, Ernest Holmes says this: perfect man, perfect being. That's you. And so it is.
And so it is.